I'm back, true believer.
Is that real CGI?
That's fake. It's fake CGI. CGI Hulk.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Hey, happy Wednesday, everybody. Now we're live. My name is Leo. I'm the monkey behind the keyboard here. We got an awesome show for you. And I was going to say something funny, but you know what? Just imagine I said something totally funny.
We do that all the time, Leo.
Yeah.
Save
it for when we go live.
Yo.
Everybody.
Brandon.
Hey, gang.
Jar.
Good evening.
Good evening. Stanley's back from the dead?
Is he? What?
I know.
He
it's
ever
a
really
bad
gone?
joke.
He was always in our hearts, right, gang?
Yeah. Introducing the multiverse. I mean, that's about
that. So I know this just hit the news today, like right before we went live. But Marvel signed a 20-year deal to utilize Stan Lee's likeness.
Yeah.
But they're not saying it's going to be cameos, but it doesn't seem like they're ruling it out either.
Well, I mean, thank God, because that's really the thing that's been missing from all of their productions.
I remember leaving Doctor Strange.
I wonder if they're gonna.
Yeah.
Are they gonna do the fan service where like they go the route of him being a watcher or something like that?
I mean, they already did that.
Oh, it was a one above all or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
I hope not.
Technicality standpoint.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, you're kind of fading in and out, bud.
How about now?
Still
Very
kind of quiet.
Kind of faint, yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
How's your gain, buddy?
Perfect. So, the theory I have with Stan Lee. So, he's like the forefront of Marvel. He, is Mr. Marvel.
Well, he's dead, but yes.
Yeah, no. Whether he's dead or alive, he is Marvel. I don't understand why they have to get rights to use his likeness. I mean,
well, because it's a real person and his estate. There's people that control his estate, and
want to make money.
Yeah, he's not a character that was made up for Marvel Comics. Like he was Stan Lee. It's like
somebody's got to get paid.
It's kind of like the estate for Carrie Fisher. She can't be replicated or CGI'd anymore. But we heard the horror stories before his passing about his family. You could only imagine them trying to get
foaming at the mouth at the idea.
Oh my God!
Continue making money off of them.
That was some horrible stuff. Horrible stuff.
Yeah, and now, well, we talked about it before, but something similar happening to Nichelle Nichols.
Oh yeah.
So the American one says Jennifer Walters or Lyra Walters, which is the real She-Hulk?
Yes.
I like that answer.
I don't know who the hell Lyra Walters is.
I don't either. Lyra.
I would think it's Lyra.
Yeah.
But Lyra Walters Hulk. I'm looking it up because well, let's see. Right off the bat, it says Lyra Earth 8009. So I'm gonna go with Jennifer Walters.
Yeah, we're Jennifer Walters. Yeah, I never followed She-Hulk.
Lyra is a fictional anti-hero appearing in American comic books published by Marvel Comics. She is from an alternate future of Marvel's main timeline and is the daughter of that reality's Thundra and the 616 Hulk. So, I mean, even if you wanted to, even with asking that question, it seems to me like Lyra would be the second She-Hulk even in her reality because her father was Bruce Banner / the Incredible Hulk, meaning his cousin was still Jennifer Walters and may very well have been She-Hulk for their generation. You know what I mean? So,
Bruce Banner. Has anybody complained about someone using that name? I'm gonna call them. Oh, you're growing strains.
Okay.
I would go with Jennifer Walters and Lyra. I don't think anybody's gonna understand.
That's that's a deep cut.
Well, and also, the
I mean, depending on what kind of high you're going for, though.
That's true as well.
Plus, hearing the trolls out there and just the
I'm so happy I have bad eyesight because I watched that and I was like, oh, this looks so cool. I can't wait to see this.
Okay, here's the thing. One of the first things, right off the bat, that the trolls are complaining about is the CGI in the show.
Yeah.
To which I say, hey, remember what Thanos looked like in the Infinity War trailer?
First time?
Yeah. He looked like a purple Homer Simpson.
Well, they still have 3 months to go, and if you look at Bruce, I mean,
it's a trailer.
It's a trailer.
Well, I was listening to somebody was talking about it. I still don't see how horrible it is, but whatever. But somebody was saying with the CGI, they've already have a model of the original Bruce Banner that they've then taken and fixed and taken and fixed and taken and he's been put into multi-billion-dollar budgets and stuff like that. This
so
is her
it's old
first
hat.
iteration. Yeah, this is her first iteration. She's going to progressively get better looking. But I was like, damn, she looks good. So I don't know.
Also, I mean, this had new footage that we haven't seen in the previous teasers.
Also, a new name.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The series is not She-Hulk. It's She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, which, and this is not a negative thing, but the first thing I thought of when I saw the title was Harvey Birdman.
Same here.
Birdman, haha, get in here. Fantastic.
Hold on, let me finish my thought here. What was I going with that? What the fuck?
Seems you finished.
No. Oh, so talking about trolls, you hear these idiots saying, well, we had a Hulk, why'd they have to womanize her,
Whoa. Really?
Yeah.
They've gone there.
Yeah, I've seen those trolls, and then I read this abysmal one that as soon as the trailer dropped, there was a post saying, wow, if the Marvel fanboys enjoy this, they'll shove anything down, shove any shit down their throat. It's not out yet, and
does anybody enjoy the movies anymore?
No one hates Marvel movies more than Marvel movie fans.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like Star Wars fans.
I took the words right out of my mouth, Jeremy.
Christ.
Took the words right out.
So
it's my favorite thing in the world. Hey, let me say that something looks absolutely fucking terrible without ever actually watching it. I'll base it all on a minute and a half.
Exactly.
And just so you know, the way CGI works, if they're doing new footage, if they want to get something out for a trailer, they'll do a pre-res. And Yo-Yo, keep me honest here. But they'll do a run through with not all the shaders, not all this, all the fine details.
Yeah.
Let's get the model and the animation out so that they have something to show, and they can still go back and fine tune everything.
Of
They
course.
still have more renders to do. Because you do any sort of 3D rendering, the higher quality you go, the much longer it takes.
Yeah,
Very true.
absolutely.
Like,
And
there's some issues with the motion, but again, it's a trailer.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not that hung up on it. I'm more like, ooh, what is this plot going to be about?
Yeah, my whole thing was like looking for the different Easter eggs, being like, who's in this? What's going on? Who's in the background?
yeah, and I mean, it's important to remember too that the story is not just going to be about her as She-Hulk all of the time. It's going to be about her finding the balance between being Jennifer and She-Hulk.
Yeah.
And that's where the drama and comedy are both going to lie. Like, I think that should be very apparent. I mean, we shouldn't be worrying about whether or not anybody has a fucking half a brain to figure that out. Like,
yeah, well, Bruce says right in it, he's like, being a hero is something, you have the ability to save people. Like, it seems like he's going to be there to be like, help her on her path, get her going.
Well, it also seems the way, and I know we're reading into a lot of this, and they could totally go sideways with it, but it sounds like something happened that caused her to have this power. Like, we're not going to see her get her powers. Like, it already happened.
no, I think we are. Because I don't think they could get away with not showing that and just jumping in media res. Like, hey, look, it's Bruce Banner's cousin, and she's a She-Hulk. Enjoy. Wait, hold on. I have some questions. No, shut the fuck up and enjoy. I said enjoy.
Well,
I mean, they could. They didn't. They could just like, hey, look, read this comic if you want to know what actually happened.
Well, not really read this comic, but like during the snap, the gamma radiation from the snap caused it.
I think they're gonna go. I think they're gonna go classic. I mean, we all know. Do we know how she became She-Hulk? Right?
Yeah,
she was in an accident, and Bruce gave her a blood transfusion, and because of the fact that they have shared DNA, the gamma radiation in his own DNA, his plasma that he gave to her, it triggered this reaction, and that's why she has the ability.
Than first cousins.
And she's lucky in that sense because she can control her transformation right off the bat. And if she does get overly emotional, if she like gets overly emotional, like angry or anything like that, she could potentially lose control and become She-Hulk without consciously transforming. But that's kind of the point, is that that's fewer and farther between with those. It's not the same issues that Bruce had to deal with. She actually has a life. Like, one of the cool things about She-Hulk that came all the way from the comics in the 80s with like John Byrne and stuff. And this will probably blow a few Deadpool fanboys' minds, but She-Hulk was actually the first comic that was breaking the fourth wall and acknowledging the fact that she was a character that you were reading the comic book adventures of. Like, John Byrne did that well before, oh my God, was it Joe Casey and what have you for Deadpool? But yeah, like it was a funny book. It really was. It was smart and satirical. And, I feel like we could probably end up getting a fair amount of that in this show. I'm looking forward to what the potential for it is.
It sounds like it's going to be a lawyer comedy, from what I've read.
Single female lawyer.
Gotta love the Futurama.
About the whole Futurama thing, I agree with Brandon. I think it's going to be good. But you guys were talking about trolls, and I was looking at it with a humor aspect, because not only were the trolls on fire, but the jokes and memes were because everyone was picking up jokes and memes from a certain Futurama episode, and one of the people on Facebook watching made a comment about it. Brandon,
maybe it'll blow your mind.
Brandon made a Futurama reference. Yo-Yo made a Futurama reference. So Futurama is just making the trend again because of the ending of the trailer. So.
Yeah, well, somebody has to make Futurama funny, and sure as fuck isn't going to be the people writing it nowadays.
Hey, Steven,
Is it still running?
hold on. Steven, do me a favor. Tap your microphone.
Is it going through the computer mic?
Yeah, you're going through the computer mic. You're not using that mic.
Yeah.
That explains everything.
You sound so far away from me.
I know. So we saw the returning of Abomination in the trailer also.
That
I mean, he
looked
returned
really
not
good.
just Abomination, but Emil Blonsky.
Yes.
Tim
How
Roth.
about now?
Real good.
Yep, perfect.
Perfect.
Was the CGI bad on that? Because I thought that looked amazing.
He was
compared
and
to
that, the
his
funny thing
first
about that is
iteration.
like that's actually the second iteration, because that version of the Abomination first showed up in Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
Well, Hulk 2008.
No, because they
No.
changed the design of the character.
Yeah,
also, and that's the character design they're using.
Also in Shang-Chi, somebody put the side by side. That portal that Wong opens up, shows the same cell that he's in the trailer.
Oh,
I was going to mention that, but good eye, Leo.
Nice. Now, of course, they say like in the trailer, like we're heading up a superhero defense division or whatever, which clearly superhuman. I shouldn't say superhero, superhuman defense division or whatever. So because of the fact that she now has these abilities, they're clearly looking at her as like a hotshot lawyer / super powered celebrity, in a manner of speaking, to be the face of this new thing that they're doing, and the potential for that leaves all kinds of appearances by other characters wide open. Of course, the top one on everyone's mind being Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil.
Yeah.
If so, great. If not, also great. Like, it doesn't bother me one way or the other. It's not like and I'm not going to spoil the territory here, but it's not like a Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness situation for myself at any rate. Like, I didn't go in there expecting to see 50 cameos from people, because I wanted to see the story of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Much like when I see She-Hulk Attorney at Law, I expect her to be front and center, and too many cameos will definitely distract from the main character and story that they're trying to focus on.
Yeah.
So unless it makes sense to have a character in there, and Disney and Marvel Studios are pretty good about sussing out such things, I don't think that we'll see, whoever it is you might want to show up just because, you know.
She's also on the West Coast and Matt's on the East Coast.
So I mean, you might get like a Foggy like this.
Oh yeah.
Or maybe they do a flashback of them in lawyer school.
Be like, hey, I need to work on this case, blah, blah, blah. What you got going on?
Yeah, I mean, it's true. If she's working for a large firm that's heading up this very new division, there may very well be like a very high profile case that they want her to go work on.
Might get a name drop
in New York City, and that's where you come across somebody like Matt Murdock or Foggy. Even I think it would actually be cooler to have Foggy show up than Matt,
even their the secretary there. What's her name?
Karen.
Yeah, I love it. Any of you guys watch her D&D show?
No, but I just found out about it a couple weeks ago. I had no idea what a gigantic nerd she is.
Dude, she's really she's a good DM. Like really,
I've heard. Yeah, I read all about it. I was kind of blown away. And that's coming from somebody who would rather slam his dick in a car door than play Dungeons and Dragons.
So I was just gonna say they could do a cameo where she's going to help out on a very small case. Somebody that really an unknown Peter Parker. But
Who? I've never heard of him.
Speaking of that, I don't know if you guys noticed this comparison. You notice there's like one quick scene of that, like this beach setting. Someone made another side-by-side comparison of there's a quick image of Hulk and Jennifer Walters at a bar, like an island bar, slinging drinks. There's another side-by-side comparison of that scene to Eddie Brock and Venom at the same bar from Spider-Man No Way Home. So it could be the same location, but although
different universe.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, it's the same universe because Eddie Brock came into the MCU proper and then was pulled back, and that's. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to spoil anything for anybody here.
No, but
that's like 3 months.
But
right?
but at the end of oh my God, what was it?
I didn't even watch the
Venom
movie.
2?
I just watched the credits.
No, not Venom 2.
No Way Home?
Spider-Man, No Way Home.
Oh yeah,
No Way
that was
Home.
No Way
Yeah.
Home,
It shows
actually.
Eddie getting drunk there, and he gets pulled back. It's like,
Yeah.
no, wait, and then he gets sucked
Yeah.
back. But then there's a tiny droplet
Yeah.
of symbiote
Yeah.
Well,
remains, and it starts moving on its own. So like that obviously is setting up likely what the next trilogy is going to be for Spider-Man in the MCU, which is fine by me.
So hear me out. If Steven's right, if it is the same place, what if that island that houses, Bruce was in his lab for 18 months? What if his lab is on that island and he recently, is studying this, black goo that was like rampaging on the island?
Ooh.
That would be interesting. I would have a lot more questions about how Bruce got a fucking lab compound on an island.
Tony left him some money. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
True. There you go.
I'm
Maybe
fine with
Tony
that
did.
explanation, but I need that explanation. If that's the case.
But like that would be kind of a cool end credit scene. Like you're sitting there and like you're just back in the lab, and all of a sudden you see like a little tube, and it's like.
Yeah, you see this black thing bouncing across. They're walking by. She goes, "What's that?" Oh, it was causing some havoc a couple months.
Yeah.
It's the thing with his island. I mean, that could be a callback to the ending of the 2003 Ang Lee Hulk, where he was in the jungle.
Hope not. We should never ever reference Ang Lee's Hulk.
Yeah,
unless we are deriding it, much like I am doing right now.
And I thought
I've never been so insulted as a comic book fan whilst watching a comic book movie. Like specifically changing the screen into comic book panels, and in the nicest way possible. Go fuck yourself. Just no. Oh, it's like the comics I read. This is fantastic now. No, Mr. Lee, that is not how that works. You're working in the medium of film. Let's stick to that one. Thank you.
But Superman started as a comic.
For it?
I didn't like it. No, wasn't a fan. I remember the lead up to that movie, and Ang Lee's like, I think the Hulk is cute. I'm like, that should not be your fucking takeaway. And you're
I remember it leaking without like the finished CGI. Yeah.
I'm still just disappointed that no Hulk production at all since Ang Lee's Hulk, nothing has used the song Bodies by Drowning Pool in any of its promotional material.
Ooh.
Yeah, exactly. A guy fucking counting, trying to keep from losing his temper, and the next thing you know, he just blows, and the fucking whole choruses, let the bodies hit the floor. That was tailor-made for a Hulk movie / trailer, whatever you want to call it. It's just like, how did they not use Thunderstruck for Thor? I just don't get it.
Well,
it's right there.
Isn't there like a rights issue? You have the whole friggin'.
No, they used it for Iron Man 2. They didn't use it for Thor.
AC/DC did a whole fucking compilation soundtrack to tie with Iron Man 2. So
Tom Moore says, wasn't there a moment in Civil War comics where She-Hulk and Matt Murdock were both lawyers on opposing sides during a court case, leading up to Marvel heroes picking sides?
Probably.
I'm checking it out right now. I don't remember.
It's been a long time since I've read Civil War.
Might have been tie-ins and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it was likely the tie-ins.
There was a lot of stuff going on throughout that.
Yeah.
It does seem so though. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the series itself was 7 issues, but then everything
tie-ins
blew it up to 58 or something like that.
Yeah.
Which I got all of them because I'm a fucking idiot.
Oh, I couldn't even do that. Yeah, that.
Yeah, foof indeed.
Wow.
I mean, it's just as bad as Secret Wars.
I think 58 might be under 97.
Judas Priest. I was undercutting it.
97. Wow.
That explains why the stack I had was this big. All right. Yeah, the other thing too. I mean, they're not going to obviously come up with Superhero Registration Act type stuff for this show because the Sokovia Accords was the closest that we're really going to see to what that was anyway. And I still think that whole thing with Civil War, the movie itself was just kind of slapdash and poorly executed. The conflict at the base, like the center of the whole thing between Tony and Steve, was just very contrived. But that's neither here nor there. I'm not trying to jump back and pick that apart, even though
but he killed his mom.
Okay, that's great. But the whole I mean, they made I don't want to jump into that. We're talking about
and he birthed a supervillain, Mysterio, during that.
Oh, yeah.
I just listen. It's not that I have a problem with the movie Civil War overall. It's just that conflict altogether. It just felt very slapdash. Like they needed a reason to push everybody together to call it Civil War. And they're like, oh, we'll just have this because, like, honestly, I have a hard time reconciling Steve Rogers, like Captain America, Mr. Responsibility himself, looking at all of them with this immense power and knowing that some of the problems that some of them have gone through up to that point, right? And saying like, we don't need your oversight. Yeah, you fucking do, dude. Like, I don't understand Steve's stance on that.
Because of everything that happened in Winter Soldier, all the stuff that they came out, like it drew his distrust in like government organizations. Like,
it's one thing to have distrust, though. It's also having common sense.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's like he as somebody who fought through World War II and saw what it was like when the world was at war with itself, right? Diplomacy is just as important as action. And what they were talking about with the Sokovia Accords was diplomacy. And Steve was saying, no, we don't need your permission to go into any other country and do what we want. Yes, you fucking do, dude. Like, you are not Team America World Police. Knock it the fuck off. That's what he was that's basically what his argument was. And
what wasn't that in Captain America First Avenger? Wasn't that the whole thing, though? Like, he wanted to go in and save his friends, and the general was like, "No, we can't go in there." But he decided to go in anyway.
Well, that was more along the lines of like, no, you're government property. You're the only super soldier we have. We can't risk you going out there.
At the same time, though, what would they become with the Sokovia Accords happened? It would become government property where they told them where to go. So,
I mean, the Sokovia Accords did happen, and that's why they were a bunch of fugitives by the time we got to the next Avengers movies. But the fact remains, it doesn't make sense for a group, an organization with that many powerhouses in it to not have some kind of oversight. And I don't mean, and the thing is, it wasn't about them being told, you go here, you go here, you go where we tell you. It was about not just jumping into some place without finding out if it's okay, because there are diplomatic things that need to occur. You have allies and enemies, and you have to make sure that there's a clear distinction. You don't want to go pissing off allies because you crossed into, their territory and just did whatever the fuck you want. Because whatever they do, then the American government would have to be like, what? They'd have to explain it. That's common sense. Like Jeremy said, like it doesn't work.
There's checks and balances.
Yeah, I agree with you, but he was not thinking about things like that, admittedly, and obviously. What he was thinking about is his experience with being told what to do in the
it was listen, all it is, and Yo-Yo, I completely understand what you're saying. Like, he was going based on feelings rather than
actually thinking. Yeah,
but that's the problem.
That's the issue,
because Steve Rogers, as he's been shown in every other iteration besides that fucking movie, he's not just a meathead. But in that movie, he's a meathead. That's why it's hard to like reconcile, because like, where's the compassionate, like, reasonable dude that we've seen in every other movie before and after? But in that movie, he's like, no, I don't like it.
Stupid.
Yeah, I don't like it, so I'm gonna fight you. And I mean, Tony, he's always been a pretty emotional guy, even though he's incredibly intelligent. So it actually was still very much in character that when he found out that Bucky Barnes is the one that killed his parents, he was like, he killed my mom, Steve.
Yeah.
And, like, for him to want to go out.
Yeah, because he didn't think about the fact that it was just my mom. Yeah.
Yeah, I get
There's
that.
no get-
That falls directly in line with how the character of Tony. He's always been a bit more.
And it wasn't
impulsive.
about his dad either. It was just
his mom. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Steve is just like, I don't like you telling me what to do. It's like, well, bro, it's not you're being told what to do. It's you have to check if it's okay that you go somewhere before you go, because you could cause an even bigger international incident by just doing whatever the hell you want. Like, he's smart enough and been around long enough to know how much sense that makes. But anyway, enough of the Civil War jibber jabber.
I don't need your Civil War.
I don't understand what's so civil about war anyway. Lots of Guns N' Roses. All three Guns N' Roses fans listening to the show tonight.
Here we are.
Right. I hope you were fans of Cool Hand Luke as well.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. I've tried to get every child that I have
Love that
the
movie.
joy of being around to be like, hey, you have to watch, like, for movie knowledge, this is great. Like,
It's great
Paul
cinema.
Newman
It's great storytelling.
Okay, can I tell you something
Oh,
really
sorry.
stupid?
Go ahead.
No.
What's up? We're not live.
Well, when I was a kid, when I was a very young kid, I love Star Wars like more than anything. So I saw in the VHS rental place, Cool Hand Luke.
I see where this is going.
I've seen
Oh my
the
God!
meme.
It's the story of his hand after it was chopped off an Empire. Father, let me get this.
I didn't see Empire by then, but so yeah, I asked my parents if we could rent it, and we brought it home, and I'm like, I don't see Luke Skywalker.
So is that small, really Southern guy like Emperor Palpatine before the robe? What we have here is a failure to communicate. It doesn't sound like anybody from Star Wars. Is it from a southern planet?
I've never seen this.
Now, Brandon, you must have seen Life, the Eddie Murphy.
Oh yeah.
Like, so many people do not know that it's an homage to Cool Hand Luke.
Oh, absolutely.
That is such a great movie. Like, both movies, I love.
That's another fun like double feature you could do with like a serious drama and then like comedy.
Well,
sort of satirical.
What's the second movie again?
Life. Yeah, Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, and
it's good.
There's so many good comedians.
Yeah,
in that.
I'm telling you, like,
it's really good.
Yeah, do Cool Hand Luke followed by Life, and then do Goodfellas followed by My Blue Heaven.
I actually did that the other day. Thank you.
See what I was talking about? Like,
yes.
As soon as it starts off, it's like, my name is Todd. It's Italian for extra special.
We were doing top 5 movies based on real events today when we were recording my show, and number 5 for me was a pairing of a double feature pairing, and it was The Post from 2017 and All the President's Men. Because if you watch The Post, the very end, it leads to Watergate, and if you watch All the President's Men, it'll lead right into that.
Nice.
And it's all about Washington. Both movies are involving Washington Post, so it's another good double feature to watch. Even though All the President's Men came out in the 70s and The Post came out in 2017, but still,
it still lines up. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's still still kind of touching on the She-Hulk thing. Another thing that I've been seeing a lot of is people complaining that she's not like roided out when she's in She-Hulk form.
I never thought she was. Like,
to which I say,
a fit.
You should maybe look up the character before you start complaining about what she looks like in the show, because straight up, I mean, it's pretty much the same way. I mean, I have a photo.
All the outfits were like,
I have a photo right here from one of the earlier issues that was done. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. That is very much how she looked. This is, oh geez, that's so small. Never mind. Jeez.
It's
I mean, even there, you can kind of see like it's not.
If you squint your eyes and get really close, you
Yeah,
can see.
for real. I'm sorry,
it's
gang.
an NFT.
Zoom, 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 zoom. Oh,
See,
she's
look
gotten
how that
bigger.
worked.
Yeah, so you see there. I mean, it's not like a whole lot of definition. She's just a large woman. That's all there is to it. I don't know what people are expecting when it comes to that. It seems a little odd to me.
I'm very excited. Like all
Yeah.
these side characters that are being brought in from Marvel are it's great for me because it's stuff that I've never read before. Like Moon Knight, She-Hulk, they're all smaller characters that they have a decent fan base, but like was never something I read. So like I'm getting all these new like I don't know, comic education in a way, although I know it's not exactly comic. It is sending me to read some of the comics.
Well, with us on splash pages, stuff like Moon Knight, we made sure that we read like the first,
The 5 issues of the
the origin of Moon Knight, and She-Hulk will probably do the same thing, and just learn more about the comic roots,
Yeah, it's very cool to see all these characters, and to put it even more plainly, not even like I wouldn't say side characters or secondary or tertiary, just at a base level, characters that you honestly never thought were going to get their own live action projects. The closest that we ever came to She-Hulk was Brigitte Nielsen.
Oh God, no, please.
I thought you were going to say China, but
no, Brigitte Nielsen was cast as She-Hulk. There's actual promotional photos out there. I'll look them up.
How long ago was that?
Oh God, back before Brigitte Nielsen was ever on fucking Flavor of Love. I can tell you that.
Oh, I hope so.
Oh wow.
Yeah, this is 90s, I want to say.
Really?
Oh yeah. Let me Brigitte Nielsen. Oh yeah. Here we go.
90s or earlier than that?
No, I'm pretty.
It had to be after the whole
After
Conan,
Cobra?
right? Or Cobra.
I don't know. I'm just looking for photos.
Rocky
of her
IV Cobra, that was like the Stallone era for Brigitte Nielsen, and then she went into Flava Flav territory.
That was such a hey, whatever. I guess they like to get their names in the lights.
Here we go. Let's see. Thank you, Reddit. You guys never disappoint. All right, let's see. Oh, fantastic. All right, I'm going to share my screen again.
I can't believe I've never seen this. I can't wait.
Well,
I'm a little scared, but
start to think about the times before you saw this. All right, a lot of
before times.
Gonna be a lot of nostalgia for you in the next fucking 3 seconds, pal.
Like I can't unsee it.
Oh whoa! What the? What is that?
It's terrible. The word you're looking for is terrible. It's terrible.
No. It's She-Hulk Beyond Thunderdome.
Yeah, like she almost looks like
Madonna backup dancer. Yes.
Yeah.
What is that?
This is like a bad 80s like video, like music video.
The cones over the breast and everything. That's impressive.
It's awful.
Something else.
Yeah, it's so bad. I mean, like the green lipstick and everything too. Ugh, come on, son. Like they didn't even try to give her green skin. They were like, "Here, just wear this weird pointy-breasted, skimpy costume with thigh-high boots." Which on Brigitte Nielsen, thigh-high boots were still like 6 feet long.
Yeah.
My God, but yeah, it's terrible. Just thank God it didn't happen.
So she was in Red Sonja.
Red Sonja,
yeah. 1985's Red Sonja. So it looks like it might have been the 90s.
Yeah.
That's when you didn't actually have to speak to be in movies and stuff. Right?
I mean,
the dialogue wasn't really mattering. It was
as far
like
as
all
she
the
was
visual.
concerned.
Yeah.
Canceled 1990s Marvel film. That's Judas Priest.
I like to shake the hand of the person who canceled that.
So I mean, that could have been its own MCU because, like, Howard the Duck, Punisher, you had the
Captain America.
So I'm reading right now. What it is She-Hulk was originally planned to be part of the Death of the Incredible Hulk television film starring Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno in 1990, but she never made it into the final draft. And ABC also announced the termination of plans for a potential She-Hulk series. Then entered B-movie director Larry Cohen from The Stuff and It's Alive, who was attached to direct a potential film based off of the Green superheroine. Signed on to play Jennifer Walters was Brigitte Nielsen, the lead role of Red Sonja and Sylvester Stallone's former wife, who dressed up in a green fabric bodysuit with dyed hair and white pale makeup, aside from green lips and eyelids, for promotional shoots.
That's
God
a great
help us
director
all.
for that, by the way. Sarcastically
all.
speaking.
Was canceled, and no reasons have ever been given as to why. Like they needed to.
No reasons, yeah. Again,
yeah, you guys put out the promotional
and just
shot.
like, thank you.
They put out the promotional shots. That was reason enough. We got it.
They're like, oh, this is what? Oh no.
But yeah. So I don't think it's necessary to have
maybe
a very
they were
large.
doing She-Hulk 2099.
I don't think they
I don't
were.
know.
I mean, I understand you're trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, but no, they weren't. But yeah. What?
No. I was just going through a list of cameos spotted in the trailer, and Titania. But if she's
okay, actually, let me. I'm sorry. Let me kind of correct that real quick. The character's name should be pronounced Titania, but because we are in America and people are stupid and juvenile, they will probably call her Titania. But the name is pronounced Titania. It goes all the way back as far, all kinds of stories. But Titania was the queen of the fairies in lore. Yep. Shakespeare even used her as a character in A Midsummer Night's Dream. Oberon, the king of the fairies, and Titania, queen of the fairies. So it's well established that is the name. But like I said, because fanboys and girls are a bunch of tittering teenagers, they're just probably going to like, yeah, Titania. It's Jamila. She's busty. Like, yeah, we get it. All right, you can stop now. So they'll probably try to eschew all of that and just be like, hey, it's Titania. There you go. Have fun, dummies. But yeah, so somebody saw.
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't even see her. Holy crap.
The Jamil.
I've only watched it twice. So
yeah, Jamil.
I haven't really picked it apart.
It's a great upgrade from her to be in this from the Good Place.
So that just brings us closer possibly to Secret Wars.
Yeah. Well, I think if Secret Wars goes, I think Secret Wars goes down, it's not going to go down, the way that.
Yeah, the comic was stupid. No. It's not going to go down that way.
Wait, hold on. Which Secret Wars are we talking about?
Secret Wars.
They all go to battle.
No, because I'm making sure because they made a newer Secret Wars that was all multiverse.
Battle Worlds,
yeah.
Battle World, but run by God Doom or whatever.
Yeah. Doctor Strange dies. That's it. Xfinity. Yeah, I have a lot of those.
Yeah, I bought a few of them and then I just stuck with the series proper because I realized it was just a bunch of gobbledygook. Gobbledygook that resulted in the Fantastic Four being plucked from the Marvel Comics universe, which to me was just like, oh, thanks a lot, Fox. Mm-hmm. Like they did that on purpose, so Fox would just have no recourse to use anything that they did in any movies they tried to make because Marvel was so pissed at what they did to their first family, and I don't blame them. But that's also the same reason why Marvel was trying for a little bit to like really push the Inhumans. Was because they were trying to replace mutantdom.
Yeah, instead of going the mutant route.
Yeah, well, because they were under strict rules at Marvel Comics to not create any new mutant characters because the rights to the films that Fox had allowed them to pluck from the comic books at any point in time. Mm-hmm. So even if it was something that hadn't been created until 15 years after the rights had been sold to Fox, they could still go right in and say, oh, we're going to use that character. And that's that. So, I don't blame them, but it just sucks that a lot of people who were fans of both of those books for a very, very long time had to suffer through, middling stuff because of stupid business shit. And like for me, I always really enjoyed the Fantastic Four. I'm not saying I'm like the most well-versed person in the world when it comes to them, but like I always loved that they were like the premier superhero team / family of Marvel Comics. And when they were pulled out of everything that they were doing comic book wise, I was just like, but why? And on top of it, the most well-known version of Reed Richards was, oh my god, what do you call himself? The Maker or something like that from the Ultimate Universe.
Where him
for
and
the Council
Doom-
of Reeds. Yeah.
Yeah, the Council of Reeds.
But yeah, the one who was from Ultimate Fantastic Four who ended up, going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and it was like, oh great, so evil Reed Richards. That's what we get.
I started out in comics reading Fantastic Four, and like I'm really interested since now that they're going to have the Fantastic Four. Where I started off reading was when Miss Marvel became a thing, and like I want to know if they go that storyline route. That would be so kind of cool to me. Like Fantastic Four come in just for television wise, like all sorts of cool stuff. The Skrull Wars and like so many good
I mean, the
stuff.
Skrull stuff with Fantastic Four, I think it will work
Super
beautifully.
Skrulls, like all sorts of
Secret
great
Invasion.
Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
Well, never mind Secret Invasion or anything like that.
We know Secret Invasion is happening.
Yeah, that's going to star Emilia Clarke from Game of Thrones and one of the Terminator movies, and that's all fine and good. I'm interested to see what they're going to do, but what I mean, especially regarding Fantastic Four and Skrulls, is like Johnny Storm, and what happens. We end up seeing him develop like his first real long-term relationship and have that pulled out from under him because of what's going on in Secret Invasion, maybe tied into that. But I would really love to see how that all works out. Like they should really have the Skrulls part of whatever they're doing in Fantastic Four at some point.
I was thinking Amelia was in a Marvel property before, like Fox Marvel, but I mistook it for Solo.
Oh yeah. The beloved Star Wars prequel.
Yeah,
I mean, it's Disney no matter what. So
yeah, I just my mind went. She was.
Can I just say this because this is another one that like the like fanboys / trolls / like, oh, I have a magic fucking lamp that I'm rubbing so hard, so I hope the genie grants my wish type deal. I've been seeing a lot of stuff about Bryce Dallas Howard being the front runner to direct Fantastic Four now that John Watts stepped back, and I don't blame the guy. He made 3 very good Spider-Man movies in 5 years. The guy has earned a break from superhero movies before jumping back into Spider-Man stuff again. For real. Like, I don't blame him 1 second for wanting to go and do something that does not involve endless CGI and like people in spandex jumping off of fucking, roofs and walls and shit. Bryce Dallas Howard, as much as I do like her, has never directed a full-length feature film.
No.
She has done a few episodes of Mandalorian and Boba Fett, and her dad is Ron Howard. That's it. I'm not saying she couldn't get to that point, but there's no way on God's green earth.
What episodes did she do?
Some episodes in season 2 of Mandalorian, and then Book of Boba Fett. Obviously, some episodes in that.
Yeah, but I'm not saying she couldn't get to that point. But for certain, like I don't think Marvel Studios would hand that off without some serious oversight. Like they did that with Captain Marvel, like to independent directors. But I will say this: they had directed a feature-length film before they got to Captain Marvel, but they still had an awful lot of oversight while they were making the film.
Okay. So she did 3.
Yeah. The other side of it too is they are also saying that not only will she direct the movie, but she will also star as Susan Storm, I bring you back to the first points I made, how she's never directed a feature film before.
That's not a good idea.
Then you want to say that she's also going to star in it in Fantastic Four, which Marvel most certainly wants and needs to be a massive hit. That will not happen. It will not. And also, I think Bryce Dallas Howard is talented. I think she's beautiful. But she is the same issue that I've been saying with John Krasinski taking over the role of Reed Richards long term. She's too old to play the character of Susan Storm. Over the stretch of time, they are likely going to want the Fantastic Four in their movies. Like, you have to think about it logically. You know, like I've said before, I would love to see Kristen Bell play Susan Storm. I think she would nail it. But she's 40 years old. I don't think we're going to be seeing people who are starting off in these roles at 40 and playing them until they're 55 or 60. I just don't see that happening. And the thing is, like, that's such a short span of time when you think about it. Like, right now, you hire someone who's in their 30s and they play it till they're like 55 or 60. That's an awful lot of stuff that you can get done.
It would be so meta if
Kristen, you're a little loud.
Fix your microphone.
What?
Overcorrected.
Sorry. It would be, how's this? It would be so meta if Kristen Bell was Susan Storm. Not that I want to see her Susan Storm. And Jamil Jamil's in She-Hulk, whatever role she's in. And somewhere down the road they cross paths and they nod at each other, kind of like a Good Place reference. Just I know
I love The Good Place, and I would hate that. If you're gonna do a reference like that, I feel like it has to be like very, very understated. Like, I watched Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the first time. Well, for the first time, like I saw it this past weekend, and while I was watching it, Sonic was talking to the dog at home because like his foster parents essentially they left, and he's talking about some movie and how it was bad. And he was just like, not only was it terrible, it was the worst, which is exactly what he does as John Ralphio Saperstein in Parks and Recreation. But it's just like, it's so understated. And if you didn't know Parks and Rec, you wouldn't miss anything from it. You'd be like, oh, Sonic's just a goofball kid. Ha ha ha. But like for a nerd like me, I'm like, ha ha, Parks and Rec. I get it. So it has layers. You shouldn't do something that anybody who hasn't seen the thing that these other people have been in wouldn't get, or at least like get a chuckle out of when they see it. Like if the two of them were like, smart eyeing each other real quick, people who have never seen The Good Place would be like, oh shit, are they going to throw down? What's going on? And then the people next to them would be like, no, they were in a show together. It's just supposed to be funny. It's like, oh, maybe they could include me in by making it actually funny.
They could do it like they did on the A-Team, with a face man, sees the Cylon and he's just like does a double take. Anybody?
And you see,
I remember
that actually proves my point, Leo, that I was just making.
I had to fish through memories there. I was like,
I mean, if you watch both shows, you're like,
oh yeah,
he was in that other
he was
show.
on that other one.
Yeah, Jeremy's great. Now I can't remember my dad.
Well, funny story about right. Funny story about that actor. I think it was at a con at Worcester. It was the first show that we were like put up on the board, and like our names were up there, and I'm like, oh my god, look, there we are. And he came walking up behind me and he's like, yeah, there's my name too. And I was like, oh my god. But yeah, cool interaction. That's it.
Nice. We almost hit we were driving up to Worcester, and we had an interaction where we almost ran over Jay from Jay and Silent Bob.
Jason Mewes?
Oh, nice.
Jason Mewes, yeah, he was jaywalking across the street.
Oh yeah, so he just calls that walking.
Yeah.
I'm me walking.
Yeah, he ran right in front of our car. We had to slam on the brakes. Yeah.
What are you doing? I'm walking here. A little Dustin Hoffman impression. Urban Cowboy via Jason Mewes. I guess that's a little bit too deep a film reference
Yeah.
for everybody.
Yeah.
I
Sorry.
didn't see that one.
It's a decent
That was a good one.
movie. You should check it out. Not
Okay.
yeah, is it Irma or Midnight Cowboy? It's
It was Midnight Cowboy.
Cowboy.
Midnight Cowboy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
I like Dustin.
John Voight and Dustin
that
Hoffman.
was just a natural reaction to the cab almost hitting him.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
hold
wasn't
on.
like wasn't planned or anything like that. The cab just almost hit him, and he wanted
Yep.
to stay in character, so he just
Yeah, he slapped the hood. He goes, "I'm walking in." And the fucked up thing about it is he's like, I actually almost said I'm working here because it pulled him directly out of the scene. And at the last like millisecond, he realized like, oh, I should say walking, not working, because we probably don't want to cut this. And it ended up being like it's a classic scene. I mean, you know, not everyone's seen the movie, but at some point, like that clip has popped up in any number of things.
Yeah.
What movie was that?
Midnight
Is that
Cowboy.
a reference from, or does Forrest Gump reference that when Lieutenant Dan smacks
Yes.
the guy?
Yep, that's exactly what I'm walking in. That's exactly the reference. You got it. See?
So I have a question.
Connecting
for
the
you all.
dots. It's all
Um,
connected.
Are we all emotionally mature enough or emotionally ready enough for an adult Scooby-Doo?
I mean,
What do you mean an adult Scooby-Doo?
Listen, pal, I've already seen plenty of Axel Braun productions. So, wait, what are we talking about?
So
I know exactly where Leo's going with this.
Oh, I do
so-
too. I do
Are
too.
we-
yeah, the
Scooby.
merger with Warner Brothers and Discovery. So they've released their first look at HBO Max's adults only Velma animated series.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a
What?
fucking murder. It's gonna be like a murder mystery thing, like straight up like Twin Peaks through the lens of fucking Mysteries Incorporated or whatever.
But adults only, which
Like, are they just
Yeah, I
gonna,
mean-
or like
Yeah, because
over-
okay, hold it. You have to specify adults only because it's Velma from Scooby Doo, and she's going to be solving actual grisly crimes.
Oh, hold
Well,
on.
Also,
well,
really?
yeah, look at the picture. That's
Yeah.
adults only. You know,
I can't see that.
Yeah, I mean, I have
I
pretty good
can't see
vision.
the CGI in She-Hulk. Come on.
Okay, yeah. So, like I said, it's gonna be her. Look, I mean, okay, never mind. Like somebody who's actually covered up. There's a dead person with the top of their skull
Yeah.
sawed off. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Like just right out of the gate. Never mind nudity or anything like that. Right out of the gate. That's the kind of thing that you most certainly don't want kids watching. Just
yeah,
saying.
so it's going to be similar to the Harley Quinn.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be just like Harley Quinn.
Yep.
And you know, what's her name? Mindy Kaling is doing the voice of Velma.
I was asking, is she voicing it or is she behind the?
I
Behind
was
the
just worried because, like, the other
drawing
day
board.
going through my comic group, there was a Flintstones adult only cover. And I was just like, why are they doing that to Betty and Wilma?
Somebody
Like,
has clearly been thinking about it for a very, very long time.
I was like, man, and we're worried about the color of characters, and you guys are having them like lay down, but like I don't understand.
And being okay with it. That's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
thing. Like,
I'm like, that's okay, but this is you guys, your fantasies are okay, but these people's fantasies, whoa, that's too much.
I mean, it's not. You know what it is? It's their fantasies are okay, but the reality of the situation is what they don't like. Like, oh, they're all woke. They're all woke. It's like, you know, you keep saying woke, but it sounds like what you mean is enlightened. But I understand that the
Yeah.
word woke is probably easier for you to spell because you're a fucking moron. Just saying. That's a general comment, not directed towards any one person in particular. Just for general consumption. If I offended you with that statement, I am glad.
You're probably, yeah. I was gonna say you're probably talking directly to them.
Yeah, like if you feel like I attacked you personally with that statement, good.
okay.
If you were offended, then Brandon definitely wasn't speaking to you at all.
Yeah. If you agree with me, you're
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
You're okay. I'm not saying that my opinion matters more than anybody else's.
No, but it's
I'm
right.
just saying I'm a human being who has compassion and empathy and understands that my point of view is not the only point of view. And that's how I approach situations and life. And you people,
What do you mean, you
don't.
people?
I mean, you people who
Oh, sorry. Hold on.
you people who
That actually
all
reminds me of something
comment
that happened
on
at
the
work.
negative side of that.
I
the
was
opposite
hoping
side.
Yo-Yo was gonna say to me, "What do you mean, you people?" I was hoping.
What the
we
fuck
were
did
gonna
you
have a-
mean, Jeremy?
That reminds me of something that happened at work, actually.
I thought we were all gonna have a moment there. Damn it!
So there
I
was
just started thinking about the customer at work, where she said
What
that.
happened?
She said that talking about the bank, but then realized that she had said that to me, and quickly became like the nicest person in the world.
Wow, that is something else, man.
But at the very least, at least one person, didn't do something stupid because a black person at a bank. So,
Jesus Christ,
I've had some fun experiences so far.
I'd fucking bet. You're really being nice using the word fun.
Yeah.
So I apologize. I was not paying attention to the conversation. I was trying to do some research, and it looks like Mindy, she is going to star and executive produce.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why Velma is South Asian in the cartoon.
Yes. Yep. And there's been backlash about that as well.
Which, whatever.
Oh,
Who
yeah.
fucking cares?
God,
Why does
people,
it matter? Why does it
doesn't fucking matter? God
Listen,
damn,
can we-
what the hell is wrong with people?
Can we all just
Ugh.
agree? Can we all just agree? Every one of us, not just
Yes.
on the show, but across the board, like
No.
hands across America type shit. Please, that
It's never
it
gonna
shouldn't matter at all if Velma is South Asian or if her background is Scotch Irish or fucking Ashkenazi Jewish. Can we just agree on that? And we should just be upset that Mindy Kaling is involved with anything because she sucks in just generally. That's my only thing. Like, I don't care. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I think it's great that they're making the character South Asian. It doesn't bother me. I think it's awesome. The character's skin color and race does not matter for how the character acts and behaves and solves crimes. But Mindy Kaling, I just don't get it. I don't understand her appeal.
Well, a lot of people like her, but I'm all for reimagining as long as they stay true to the core of the character. Like she's this
Is it really a reimagining?
Yeah,
I think that's a bad term.
Yeah, I
for
don't.
it. It's just the same character.
Yeah,
when I heard
if the core is the
I
same,
thought
it's the
we're
same
gonna
character.
turn Velma slutty, and I was like, "What's going on? Can we not do this, please?"
Well, that was kind of
like
funny.
we've
I
all
think we
had
just
our fantasies, but I don't want it actualized by like
That's
HBO
for me to
Max.
draw, not you.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that Velma, is just going to continue being a very smart and astute character who is very adept at solving crimes. And
exactly.
Considering Mindy Kaling's comedy background, she's probably also going to be fairly like sardonic and sarcastic, which that, as far as I'm concerned, lines right up with how the character should be anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, she was always, she had her little snide comments.
Yep.
Well, not snide, but like sarcastic remarks and stuff.
More of like I can't believe I fucking hang out with these idiots. In so many words,
Yeah.
No, Shaggy, that's not what he meant.
Exactly.
Like for sure, that's what he meant.
Speaking of Shaggy,
It wasn't
It
me.
wasn't me. Ah!
So do you think
this guy?
do you think Shaggy's gonna be the new Robin?
Oh,
think,
from Multiversal or whatever?
Oh my
What's his
god, did you
name?
see that trailer?
I have not seen the trailer. I saw a snippet of it, like a
What are we
photo.
talking about?
So there's this free to play online game from DC. And it's pitting. Looks like it's like a Royal Rumble type of thing. So it had like Batman with
Like Smash
Shaggy.
Brothers for the DC universe.
Exactly. Smash Brothers. So Batman, Shaggy, Harley Quinn, and whatnot. But it starts off with Batman and
For a second, I
Shaggy.
was like, "Why is Shaggy?" Oh yeah, DC owns that.
Yeah.
Warner
Brothers. Yeah.
But yeah, the big thing is they're all fighting, and I didn't see this movie, so I didn't get emotionally tied up into it. But it's Superman at the end, and up flies beside him is Iron Giant.
Oh, I love that
gotta
movie.
check
You haven't
this
seen
out.
the Iron Giant?
No, I haven't.
Really?
Wow.
Okay,
No.
you should really see that movie, particularly to understand
Vin Diesel
why
movie
it's a
ever.
big deal that Superman and the Iron Giant are next.
Oh,
to one another.
I've read that it was, and that's why I own it. And
Oh.
it's like in my like
It's one of those I haven't gotten around to yet.
exactly. Yeah, it's I bought. I think I bought it on
also-
4K. It's sitting right next to the rest of my Superman set.
God, it makes me so
And-
sad now just thinking about the Iron Giant. The word Superman.
I'm
Oh.
sure you have the same problem as I do, where you want to watch these movies, but nobody around you wants to watch them either.
Oh
They're
yeah,
like,
yeah, totally.
Oh, I get the same thing, man. I
I'm
mean,
like,
oh,
let's
you-
check this out, and they're
by
like,
by the way, all you
I don't got that
fuckers, all
problem.
right, all fucking four of you, all right. I don't know specifically if Yo-Yo was involved in this, so
oh,
there's a caveat for that. So Yo-Yo, if I'm wrong, you're not included, but if I'm right, fuck you too. But you fuckers were like, "Oh, Discovery, you should watch seasons 1 and 2." All right, yeah, but
yeah.
I didn't know that it was 4 fucking seasons long though. Like
Hey.
nobody brought that up at all.
I haven't seen a single episode of Discovery, so count me out of this.
Same here.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so you two, over here in the
I
fucking
take the
corner.
blame. I take the blame. Yeah, yeah.
I did start watching it. Because we didn't have anything else, and I've had it on my list, and which I've said repeatedly, and I finally turned to Darren. I was like, we could watch Discovery, and she was like, okay, and I was
channel?
like, yes, because she had no other suggestions. There was
that's
nothing.
So awesome.
So we are now like 4 or 5 episodes in, and
Oh, okay.
it's great. I'm really enjoying it, and I get a huge kick out of Brian Fuller in everything he does. I haven't seen Hannibal, but it's something that, especially with watching Discovery, it hammers it home. I've always said this. In the shows that he creates / runs, his main characters, his main female characters, always have a man's name. Every one of them. Pushing Daisies, the main
That was
female
a
character.
Great show.
I love that show.
So-
Daryl loves it.
Oh my god.
Barry Sonnenfeld did a great job with the hyper reality of that entire series. It was perfect. But that is a fantastic show that suffered, unfortunately, from the writer's strike. If that hadn't happened, it would have gone on for like 5 seasons.
Oh,
easy.
what's her name?
Anna Friel?
Yeah, such a great.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I was introduced to Kristen Chenoweth.
She's amazing.
She's
singer.
so
like,
good in it. Oh my god. And also Swoosie Kurtz is in it, as well as I can never remember her name, but the woman who played Audrey in Little Shop of Horrors. She plays Anna Friel's character's aunts in it. But yeah, Anna Friel, she's like the main love interest. Lee Pace, who played Ronan the Accuser in Guardians of the Galaxy, he's the main character, Ned. And Chi McBride is also in it. He plays a detective that kind of finagles Ned into his deal.
Ellen Green. Good job.
Ellen
Tom.
Green. Thank you, Tom.
Tom's on top of that.
But Anna Friel's character's name in it is Charlene, but everybody calls her Chuck.
Yep.
And the next show that Brian Fuller did after that was on Fox called Wonder Falls, that starred Caroline DeVernus, which the only other thing I know her from, she played the character of Anna in Out Cold, which I actually mentioned a couple weeks ago. And her character's name is Jay. Spelled Jaye, but Jay nonetheless. And then we start watching Discovery, and I was like, wait a fucking minute. Is her name Michael? Fucking Brian Fuller, man. This fucking dude. I swear. It's cool. It's like a definitely signature move of his. And I also think it's like a fun kind of workaround for him to connect to the characters a bit more, especially if he's doing like more intimate moments, because Brian Fuller, and this is in and of itself not that big a deal. Seriously, Brian Fuller is gay. He's an openly gay creator, and he has some really fantastic stuff out there. If you ever listen to the King Cast, that covers a lot of Stephen King stuff, they have him on looking at like the queer point of view for a lot of Stephen King books and stuff. It's awesome when he comes on. He's just such a smart, creative guy. But I think it's kind of a fun workaround for him, because by naming his main female characters a male's name, he can more easily put himself into that role, into that position to write for them, and especially if they are performing or acting with a love interest or anything like that. I think it's like a really creative way to get into a character's headspace.
The relationship part of the show, there are some that go on and off. There's one later seasons that's really good with plays a pivotal role with the engineer and the doctor.
Dude,
Okay.
I'm telling you, I got so emotional. Like Brandon, if you're in like that,
Oh
that
yeah, I'm a
whole
crybaby and shit. So
that whole oh my god, that they rocked me in a few of the episodes with what they did with that relationship and like
Oh yeah, how? Oh
okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, not
no
to
spoilers,
no
Pump your
spoilers.
brakes, boys.
none,
Oh,
none whatsoever. It's
and
so good.
what happens to the doctor? How they tie that into
Yeah,
another character in the last season? Is it the last season?
I believe it
I
was
wouldn't
last
know.
season.
It's a whole there's like they touch on spirituality and yeah,
Oh,
it's
dude, they are so forward. Like they have non-binary people in this. Like
Oh,
they
that's cool.
have like it's Star Trek at its purest form again. Like
Yep.
being
Uh-huh.
like we are all just people.
Yeah, I mean
Like,
that's
it's beautiful.
I literally was talking with Dara about that earlier tonight. Like I saw that what's his name, Bill Corbett from MST3K and what have you.
Mhm.
He shared a link to something from Fox News, like very sarcastically, just showing like screenshot of it, where they were like the opinion column on Fox News website was, oh yes, Star Trek Enterprise has just joined everybody else, and now they're just doing all kinds of social woke commentary. It's like, have you never seen fucking Star Trek, dude? Like, what is wrong with you? Get the internet, you moron. Like, oh yeah, you're right. Star Trek has famously been on the conservative side of things forever.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
exactly the reason why there was a black woman, a Russian man, and a Japanese man who were all part of the main ensemble on the bridge
Sitting on the
every
bridge.
episode, which also led to the first kiss between a white actor and a black actor on national television
On a
ever.
sci-fi show.
Yeah, that
sci-fi
sounds
show.
that sounds like they were definitely super conservative at that point in time to me.
Well,
fucking idiots.
And if you ever listen to Nichelle Nichols speak, the way she talks about how she was going to quit, and I believe it was Martin Luther King that asked her to stay on. It's
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
it was
convinced
a
her to stay.
huge thing. Yeah,
Yep.
Especially for that time, for a black
Mhm.
woman to be like a black woman to be a voice on television.
One of the things I always thought was cool too was the fact that Nichelle Nichols used to date Gene Roddenberry.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they didn't date anymore. They weren't an item, but like they remained friends. And just the fact that he had so much like respect for her as a person, he was like, yeah, no, Nichelle needs to be on this show. Like, hands down, bar none. Like, she's on this show. And I mean, I just think that's great because it was somebody who in their own personal life, they understood what it was to, be accepting and, understand that we're all the same and that needs to be represented wholly as much as possible. I mean, the only downside really for that point in time in the original series is it's unfortunate that George Takei had to be in the closet.
Yeah.
But when you think about, aside from that, when you think about the era that show was made in, I mean, there are quite a few individuals that are part of the show that a lot of folks in America would have had a serious fucking issue with in the real world. A Russian guy in the middle of the Cold War as part of this team of heroes. I mean, even in The Man from U.N.C.L.E., they had to play it off like, well, maybe like, he's a bad guy, but he's not, working against us. Like, okay, that's great. I guess we like Ilya, but with Chekhov, I mean, we've never wanted to hear someone say Wessel so much in our fucking lives.
A nuclear vessel.
Nichelle Nichols, like, they couldn't do shit on that ship without her. She was like the only one that understood how everything fucking ran on that bridge.
Yep.
For real.
Don't touch it. Just don't touch it.
Yeah, for real. Like, she was the only one that was like,
That's true. She would come in and be like, move out of my way.
Yeah. And
Uhura, the character in For Strange New Worlds, she like saved the day in like the second episode.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet. I still gotta get that's on the list.
Yeah, I'm watching Discovery so I can watch
Nobody will watch anything Star Trek with me. Nobody.
Strange New Worlds is
I watch this stuff
good.
late at night all by myself. Like sitting there. It's such a sad life.
Uhura is a cadet, and they so she's new to the ship, so they prank her. She's like got invited to the captain's dinner, and like all the bigwigs are going to be there and stuff like that. So they tell her to dress in full dress. So she does the nines, and like everybody's casual and
just walk through the door. Oh, okay, I get it. Asshole.
But then the captain, trying to make her feel comfortable, says, "So I hear you speak 12 languages." And she corrects him. Yes, actually it's 37. And like everybody's like
37
in a row.
Hey, you get back here. Some fun Kevin Smith references happening in tonight's episode. I'm enjoying it.
So I am eager to hear what you think about Discovery as you move along, especially knowing that you love Deep Space Nine. And there's definitely some tie-ins to the original series. So yeah, I'm curious, especially the first season, to hear what you think at the end.
Honest opinion.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just looked up the actress who plays Uhura in the new show. Holy crap, she is beautiful. Sorry.
Does Deep Space Nine, like, if you watched it now, would it still be as good?
See, I'm actually working towards that because I'm kind of doing the same thing you are, Jeremy, where I'm watching like newer stuff with Dara, but then by myself at night, when the Dara's away, the mice will watch Star Trek.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to work my way through Next Generation. This has only been fairly recent. I'm at the first, I'm through
the first season is kind of tough.
Oh yeah, it's funny to me how much of a dick Picard is in that first season, especially. Oh my god, like Wesley, that poor kid. Like, regardless of what anybody thinks about that character, like there was no need for Picard to be like, "Shut up, Wesley." Every 5 fucking minutes.
He hated kids,
and he is straightforward about that. He does say like, "I don't like children." Okay, man, but that doesn't mean you have to be fucking actively mean to them.
So with Next Generation, that definitely set the bar with, and the term came from it, growing the beard. As soon as Riker came on with the new beard, the show was good. Season 3 on, the show was phenomenal.
I was actually pretty okay when fucking Yar went away too.
Oh yeah.
I didn't really enjoy her very much.
And then they brought her back.
Very active.
Yeah. Also, it was great to have Beverly come back.
Yeah.
I didn't mind Pulaski like that much, but she just seemed like she was like a very nothing character. Like, I didn't dig on her. She was kind of a wet blanket, which is really saying something for the beginning of the series, because it was like competing wet blanketdom between her and Picard. Like it was like a fucking volley match each time.
They did not need to do that Ghost Planet though. With you just said her name. The doctor.
Pulaski?
No, not Plansky.
Oh, Beverly Crusher.
Crusher, yeah, the ghost planet where she has
Yeah, I literally just told you I'm like at the beginning of rewatching the series.
Yeah,
I've seen it intermittently, so I don't have like.
Oh, gotcha.
I don't have the base knowledge that a lot of you more hardcore Trekker and Trekkie folks have.
Yeah,
when Q showed up, because Q is my favorite thing.
Q shows up like right in the first season.
Yeah. Q's my favorite part of the Next Generation.
John Delancey is just like he's a delight.
Yeah,
to watch as Q, and I honestly have to say like Dara had never really seen anything with Q in it before Picard, so I had to give her like a quick rundown. Thank God for YouTube videos, like the people that put together that stuff for newbies. Like those are the real MVPs, honestly. Like,
there's a great thing on YouTube to look for, or it was a comedy album, but you can't find it anymore. So someone uploaded it to YouTube. It's Spock versus Q. So it was Leonard Nimoy and John DeLance on stage, and they were just going back and forth with each other in front of an audience. If you can find it on YouTube, it is like an hour and a half of fantastic goodness.
That's awesome. Yeah, and that's the thing is like I was explaining to her that John Delancey is Q on the show. He was always fun to have show up, not just because of how they wrote the character, but how John Delancey brought him to life. He's such an accomplished stage actor that he brought that same liveliness and presence with him to the screen, and it translated so well.
And I think it really brought out that from Picard too. Like them two playing off each other was just.
And honestly, I gotta say, like John Delancey as Q in Picard versus how he appeared as Q in Next Generation, like that. Talk about a dude that aged well. I mean, he looks 1,000 times better with the white hair and goatee than he ever did at any other point in the Star Trek series. I was like, holy shit! You should have snapped your fingers to look like that fucking 25 years ago, pal.
The episode where he spends the day as a human is just hilarious.
Yeah,
like experiencing like hunger for like.
What is this?
Yeah. When Next Generation was out, I went hardcore into Trek, like really hardcore. Like before the internet, I was like reading the encyclopedias, and my friend told me I needed to back away when I could name the barber on the Enterprise, which only appeared in one episode. His name is Mott, by the way, is the barber on the Enterprise.
Good to know.
Wow.
Yeah. And if you want to know where the bathrooms are.
This is a real Slumdog Millionaire situation. You said that 5 years from now, like somebody's going to be holding a fucking gun to my head. Like, what was the name of the barber on the Enterprise? Like, I know this. It's Mott. He was only in one episode. All right, Powers. You're safe this time. Thank God Leo gave us that fucking inane fact.
And if you're looking at security to the left, right before the ready room, that's where the bathroom is on the bridge.
Oh, good to know.
Good to know in case I ever need to relieve myself when I'm on the Enterprise.
I
think
number one, take a number one.
What are you doing? Number one. Oh, make it so.
Could you imagine like Worf having some massive like stomach problems?
No, I would prefer not to. I don't know what I ate. We don't know what you ate either.
Like my dog getting some chocolate in the farts are just like, Worf, what? Oh, dude, please.
He's really wharfing up the bridge. Why do you refer to it as wharfing?
That was a good one.
So I'm gonna pose this question to Yo-Yo.
Okay.
To get your thoughts. Did you see the Boys trailer, the new one? What'd you think?
All right.
Hard to impress on Yo-Yo.
I reserve the I want to see what the season holds. Honestly, it's to me personally.
Yeah.
Like Soldier Boy, yeah, he's this time, but like, which version of Soldier Boy? Blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's Yo, have you read the comic book series that it's based on?
Yeah, some of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, so because that seems to me like what a lot of people who are fans of the comic book series, like myself, are kind of walking away from the boys each episode / season. Like yeah, I recognize that it's a pretty good show, but the comic book series upon which it is based is so much better, and they keep deviating from it, that it's really only the boys in name, and it's reminiscent, to me at least, of what Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg did with Preacher, which I absolutely fucking hated. I
See,
loved that Vertigo series.
I
and
liked it until I read the books, and that's
yeah,
what I'm doing actually with the boys now too. I'm like, I'm gonna
oh.
finish the series and then I'm gonna go read the books.
Well, hey, if you're reading the boys, you have make sure that you read Herogasm. It's like kind of in the middle there, but they do it as a separate like mini series, so it doesn't fall in line with like the series proper unless you really search out the correct reading order. You have to make sure you're getting it at the right spot. I bought like every single. I had all the trades anyway, but I bought them all digitally just for ease of access. And I was like, okay, buy all the boy stuff. And I bought omnibuses, and I was just like, what the. Why the fuck didn't they put Herogasm in here? So I had to buy that separate. And then when my wife was reading, I was like, all right, stop at this issue, read this, and then go back.
All right, I'm coming
Read
to
it
you when
now.
I
Thank me
start.
later. Yeah. And
it's like telling people how to watch the MCU. I'm just like, well, it depends. How do you want to go? Do you want to go just how it came out, or do you want to go with chronologically, or do you want to go with what's actually good, what you don't need?
I honestly think the best way to go with the MCU viewing stuff is just watch it in the order it was released, particularly because of the stingers at the ends of the movies.
Yeah.
If you watch them in chronological order, which, by the way, people keep putting Captain America: The First Avenger at number 1 even now, and that doesn't make sense. It should be Eternals.
Yep.
Eternals should be the first movie.
What's Disney Plus do now?
Whatever the fuck they want, apparently.
Yeah,
pretty much.
We are.
I mean, because normally, like, if I'm gonna throw it on, I'll
Should Eternals be the first one?
Yeah, because if you're going chronologically,
they
how much of it takes place? That's
on Earth thousands and thousands of years ago. I mean,
how much of it takes place during that time period, though? Like,
I mean,
I guess you can watch some of it, and then
I mean, they're pretty, they're pretty spot on in like how they've been on Earth and influencing culture for centuries. Yeah. So I think it makes sense to say, if you're going to look at it in chronological order, they're there. I mean, for crying out loud, what's his name? Phytos. He is directly responsible for the creation of the nuclear bomb that is used in World War II. So, I mean, that right there, that brings you right up to Captain America. So
I could see that, but maybe they're basing it.
No, you will see that.
I'm just saying, majority of the movie does take place, after the snap.
Yeah,
that's my argument.
Yeah.
Okay,
like,
but
can we cut it up? That's my thing.
But it still is rooted in taking place like initially 10,000 years ago.
Then you have like the like
Black Panther. Where you put Black Panther in that? Because I mean, Black Panther starts off talking about how the meteor
creation of the world.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think Eternals just actually goes before that still.
So Eternals, according to Disney Plus, going by the Marvel Cinematic Universe in timeline order, it goes Avengers Endgame, Loki, What If, WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Shang-Chi, and then Eternals, and then that's Hawkeye and Moon Knight.
That's the release order.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're talking
like
about I'm talking about
as far as,
chronological, like the
No,
events in the universe.
yeah.
themselves.
This is their timeline order.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, this is.
Well, far be it from me to say that Disney's wrong, but Disney's
Disney's
wrong.
Well, speaking of 10,000 years ago and Fox properties, anyone see the trailer for
Ooh.
Prey?
That look, I'm
Yeah.
excited.
I've
Yeah.
not seen it yet. I have it queued up.
Take the 44 seconds and watch it now.
Yeah. It's really decent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Shut my
actually gonna do
screen
the
off
same.
and not listen to you guys.
Yep,
Yeah,
go
Yeah.
for it.
We'll
Go.
talk about bananas.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Well, you know,
Rhode Island is neither a road nor
Nor
an island.
island.
Discuss.
well, so while you guys do that, I'm going to bring up a story that's close to Steven's heart.
His lungs.
Yeah.
This is a story about how Steven breathes.
They're talking about DC Entertainment.
Uh-oh.
Well,
Mike,
you can't do that and then tell me to watch a fucking trailer, man. Like I'm looking back and forth. I'm like,
okay, watch the trailer and then
Watch the trailer and save me.
all right. How am I gonna watch this and not hear you clowns?
Easy. Mute
I
the
hope
mic.
we get to hear it as you're watching it. That would be
Yeah,
great.
but I can hear you as I'm watching it. All right. I guess you guys are gonna get my
I'm in the
reaction
trailer.
from the director of 10 Cloverfield Lane.
oh yeah, and so he's from Totally Rad Show.
Yeah.
Comes a story about a girl who was in Legion on FX running through a field.
Dun, dun.
Oh, maybe I should have brought more than one arrow with me.
Oh shit.
Those were lasers on that dude's forehead. Is this a Predator thing? Oh yeah, it's
Yes.
Predator.
Yeah.
Okay. I
So,
get it. Because of the slash marks on the word prey at the bottom of the letters. Ah.
I figured that the sound, but
Yeah, what I like about this is they're not going forward with movies that, each film gets progressively worse. See The Predator. What I like is they're going back because if
Wait, you don't like weaponized fucking children? Oh, you know what? Let's take a child with a legitimate medical condition and turn it into a fucking superpower that can stop or save the Predator. Did we get that right? All right, Shane
Well-
Black, you wrote it. Cool beans, man.
Anyway, so if instead of going forward, go back, because if you pay attention to the Predator lore in the comics. See, I know a comic. There are some comics
Prove
where in Predator 2, perfect example, when the Predator gives Danny Glover that flintlock at the very end, the old pistol. There's a comic at the very immediately followed the movie where that Predator picked up that pistol, and it was in 1780 on Pirate Island. So there's also a video game called Predator Concrete Jungle, where you're following different predators in different timelines and different periods of history. So I like the way they're going with this, because obviously when you see the Predator in Predator 2, this trophy room, they have obviously the alien. We all know that. A fucking dinosaur skull, human skull. So they, across the board, they hunt things, but they go to different periods of time.
So what you're saying is they're like predators.
Yes.
So
And we're
you
prey.
mentioned the comic and the video game. So are they going to also tie in Aliens versus Predator for Atari Jaguar? And then,
Oh, one can
Let
only
me
dream,
just-
right?
and then if they're including that, do they go back to Aliens for Commodore 64?
Well, no,
I
I-
afford a
Yeah.
Jaguar, so I never got to play that.
What I
Do
was
the math.
finishing up with what I was saying, what I like about this trailer is you have that the whole thing I was mentioning, but in the trailer you have basically a Predator with all this advanced weaponry going up against someone that only has sticks and axes and a bow and arrow.
I have to
Going
say,
again,
the Predators
so it's
kind
like
of
a
bitches.
yeah. So
They're
I'm
like,
thinking of like those trophy hunters that go and shoot lions.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
yeah.
Online.
like what are you really proving?
They're like,
No,
hold
it's
on,
just if you
point
look
and
at
click.
the lore of the Predator and seeing how
they're nothing but like douchebag hunters.
I
They go to
understand,
different-
Steve. I understand what you're saying. Like seeing them in that particular era and how not
Like actually tying back to
it's
like
not
how long they've
necessarily
been-
about what the Predator is going to do. It's about how the humans are going to fight against the Predator.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
understand that. But to
But
their
I have to
point,
make my jokes.
yeah, to their point, I do
I got a follow-up
understand.
joke, by the way.
I do understand how it could be a little eyebrow raised and be like, how much are you really challenging yourself there, Preddy?
Yeah.
You know, like
Like,
you
I can
showed up on a
understand the
world where
dinosaur.
they're chucking rocks at one another and sharpening sticks and just using string to fling them. Like you literally have a fucking targeting system on your wrist. You turn invisible and can copy their
Yeah, right.
noises. Where's the challenge? So, like they said,
it's like
it's
stop
like,
one.
oh look, I
Like-
killed this lion. They only had to use half the drugs they planned on to get me close enough to shoot him too.
Oh, maybe
And
I'm a hunter.
the reason why they were able to do that is because the Predator that's there, his father is king of Predator World.
My dad owns a dealership.
President Trump, and he he signed into a new law where he lifted the ban on hunting humans.
We could have,
the
best
another
hunting
thing
parties,
about
just the absolute best. You're gonna get so tired of winning all the hunting, just hunting left and right. You're gonna love it.
Oh, another thing about the Predator lore
Population's
is all the
getting a little out of
Predators hunt
control.
for honor. So that could be another thing. Like they're
Where's
But
the
Yeah.
honor?
once
the
again, like
question
it
is
brings
honor.
the question of honor with advanced science weaponry versus sticks
Unless
and
like-
stones.
Unless you're gonna spend like a month teaching them how to use your weapons, lend them some, and then
Hey,
you see where
use
I'm
this.
coming from with the concept of
Yes,
their
absolutely.
technology versus like primitive technology. I think it's a great concept compared to,
Oh, yeah.
Instead of them continuing a storyline, which what we've been getting. I'm granted, I would like to see a follow-up to Predators. I would love to see a follow-up to Predators. I don't know why we haven't gotten one yet, but I would like where they're going now with Prey. I would like to see.
Ooh, will Arnold make an appearance?
hopefully not.
I mean, how would he? It
Yeah,
clearly
it's
takes
our-
place
It-
hundreds of years
Conan.
before he was born.
It's his
Conan.
Civil War great grandfather.
But
I'm pretty sure that
the
the only
Civil War is not
the
happening.
only
then.
civil wars he was dealing with were in fucking Eastern Europe.
will he be smoking a stogie? He'll have like a backwoods in his mouth.
I am glad to see that Amber Midthunder is doing stuff though, because she was, like I kind of joked at the beginning of the teaser there. She played a character in the show Legion on FX, and she was great.
Really great show.
That show was amazing, and I was sort of skeptical just because I never really dug that much on the Fox X-Men. And when I started watching it, I was like, oh, this is so far removed from anything that they've ever done in any of these movies. I am right there for it. I am on board. And the shit that they did, I mean, the Shadow King, just excellent. The actor that got to play him, superb. Naveed Negaban is his name. Aubrey Plaza was excellent in the show. Dan Stevens, just
How do you hold all these names, Brandon? God,
I don't know.
Damn.
People ask me that all the time. I don't know. It's just the thing, some people like they can hold on to baseball stats and stuff like
so
that.
jealous.
But
I sit there and I'm like, I have to say what they played every time. I'm just like, oh, blah blah blah.
You gotta open up IMDb and say, okay, I know they were in this movie.
Yeah.
And
Leo actually used to joke about that when I first started. He'd be like, "Oh, Brandon's on. I gotta open up IMDb." But Amber Midthunder, I mean, she's just great. And when the show was ended, and it ended well, they did such a good job with bringing it to a close. I was just genuinely like, oh man, she was like one of my favorite parts. Like, what am I gonna see her in now? And I guess she was on that new Roswell, New Mexico show that they did, sort of like a reboot of Roswell from the early aughts on CW. But aside from that, I didn't know of anything else she was doing, and I hope this does well enough that it raises her profile even more, because she's really talented and she deserves to be in more things.
All right. Speaking of Fox properties, anybody see New Mutants, and was it worth watching?
I
I
No.
wanted to see it initially, but then all the delays had me. I just did not see it.
Yeah,
Okay.
when
Well,
they
at some
delayed
point.
it for the 10th fucking time, I was just like, was it worth it?
honestly, I think it is worth seeing.
Yeah.
Especially if you separate it from the other X-Men stuff that Fox did. If you were to take New Mutants, right, and bring it to the forefront and say, hey, this is kind of like the start of what you're going to see, then you would really have no problem with it. But if you bring the baggage of everything that Fox did with the X-Men franchise up to that point with you, then you're going to look at it and be like, this is fucking stupid. If that makes sense. You know, it is very much, there was a lot of studio meddling with the movie. What's his name? Who did the movie? Was it Josh? No, it wasn't Josh. Who the hell directed it? You want to say Josh Trank, but that was Fan Four Stick.
It's worth a watch, but when you watch it, you're gonna think to yourself, "Wait a second, didn't they do a storyline 3 movies ago?"
Yeah.
Did they? What?
Yeah.
Oh,
It was
Sucker Punch.
no, not Sucker. You're talking about the last X-Men movie, right?
talking about
No,
the
no,
New
no. New Mutants.
The New Mutants.
The one where they're all in
Oh.
this. It seems
Josh
like they're in
Boone.
an asylum
That's
of
his name.
some sort, or
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. I was thinking of the last X-Men movie.
No,
No, that was
the New Mutants. That's
what
the thing
was
is
the last X-Men movie?
Dark
Trying to
Phoenix.
remember.
You don't need to know.
Oh yeah,
It's
no,
okay.
no,
No.
no.
I haven't even seen it. I have no
The
interest.
last
in
stand
seeing it.
2.0, pretty
I
much.
think after
Like, they
first
always-
class, I stopped.
They always fumble
Yeah.
when it comes to
Yeah.
that third
I think it
movie.
was
But,
first class. One
But
of
yeah,
the two.
New
did.
Mutants, you can tell that it was definitely made to be a scary movie.
Yeah.
And the studio came in and was like, no, this is too scary. You have to
See, like
tone
that's
it down.
that's what interested me about the trailers.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
at first when they like, I swear, like the trailers came out and then you didn't hear anything for like a year, and then trailers came out again and it was a totally different movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I'm
what
telling you,
happened to the
I'm
horror
telling you
flick?
though, Jeremy, check it out. And just get all the other X-Men movies just out of your mind. Just don't think about them. Seriously, there's very little in this movie that connects to anything else. You don't need to bring all that with you. Because if you were to look at it independently and think to yourself like, oh, so this is kind of like the start of like what could be the secondary X-Men team, right? Like that's what you're kind of thinking. And then they go different routes with it. If you're a fan of old school horror movies, particularly, in all honesty, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors,
Yeah.
then
We're the
you're
Dream
then you're gonna I think you're gonna be
No,
able
I
to
don't like
zero
that
in.
movie.
No, that movie's awful. But I think you'll be able to zero in on exactly what influences Josh Boone was leaning on for this flick. I think it was done well for what it was. It's just unfortunate that it was tethered to all the other stuff, because this was certainly something different than anything else that Fox had tried to give us for X-Men.
Yeah.
And if they had had that frame of mind throughout the entire process of every single production that they put out, then those movies would have been great overall, instead of like a couple of gems amidst a pile of almost literal shit.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think both them and Warner Brothers suffer from the same problem of just not being able to pull it together.
Well, I think the guy who's coming over from Discovery, he has the right idea. You look at core competencies and say, hey, if we have an entire division that we want to be able to, for lack of a better term, exploit the characters to make new projects, films, and television shows, why don't we have someone who oversees all of that? Like someone who is involved and knows what they're talking about. They understand the characters, they know the business side of it, but they actually love these properties to shepherd them with care. Why don't we do that? Because and it sucks for people to hear that and be like, oh, so they're just going to copy Marvel. It's like it's not copying, it's doing the thing that works. That's
running a business properly.
Yeah, that's what every business fucking does. It's called benchmarking.
Yeah.
It's not new.
Right.
Well, segue.
You think Woolworths didn't take a look at what fucking Sears and Roebuck was doing 100 years ago?
They were following the Bradley
layaway. What the fuck is that bullshit? You paid for all your shit up front. Why is everybody going to Kmart and Sears? Fuck, we should do layaway.
They were following the Bradley's business model.
And they were following the Benny's route.
Following the Bradleys and Caldors.
Caldors, Ames.
Yeah. Nobody knows Zares? Come on.
Oh, Zares.
Yeah, Zares, yeah.
Zares, yep.
Do you guys have Clovers?
No.
I guess that was a Phillies thing.
Oh, yeah, I would say so. My wife would probably know it. Her whole family's from Pennsylvania. I didn't even know what the fuck a Wawa was until I
Oh my god, I miss Wawa.
Yeah, see, there you go, Wawa. You know what they sell at Wawa? Everything. Just you name it, it's there. I don't know why. It's a fucking convenience store, but it surely is convenient. I'll say that.
Oh my god, that's
my favorite thing about Pennsylvania is just listening to the accent. Get deep into it. My mother-in-law specifically, she grew up in Pennsylvania, and Dara, she was born and raised here, but her father was raised in Cambridge, which is Cambridge. It's not Boston. Let's be real. And by his parents from Pennsylvania. So there's a lot of transference with that accent. And even the other night, Dara was like, oh, I went and I turned the light on. And I was like, the light what? She was like, what did I say? I said I turned it on. I'm like, no, you did not. Your Pennsylvania is showing. She was like, oh god, did I do it? I'm like, it's all right. I'm an Irish kid from Boston. I slip all the time. But
your wife's from Pennsylvania?
No. She's born and raised here in Massachusetts, but her entire family still lives in Pennsylvania.
So my wife, a lot of her family actually came from Pennsylvania.
So you hear a lot of, hey, can I get a drink of water?
Yeah.
Water.
I always feel uncomfortable when people point it out, but I also don't mind. I'm used to saying it that way.
You ever have a nice popsicle you bought at a convenience store? Not in fucking PA, man. You got a water ice that you got at Wawa's
or Rita's.
Rita's. I've heard of Rita's.
Oh god, I love Rita's. Oh my god, Rita's is amazing.
Yeah, it is.
I got a Zara storyline that's definitely going to be a sign of the times for you. So growing up, my mom used to take me grocery shopping. She wouldn't take me grocery shopping because I was a little kid and I was like a pain in the ass. So she'd leave me in the car while she's grocery shopping. Well, this 80s, okay.
No, I get it. I'm laughing because good luck trying that nowadays.
Drove.
Well,
I was stuck in the car with my stepdad all the time. That was horrible. I would have loved to have been stuck in the heat all by myself.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, growing up, we were poor. She'd do a lot of grocery shopping with the coupons. So she'd be in there for an hour. And, I'd get bored in the car. So I'd hop out of the car, wander through the parking lot, start walking through Zara's on my own and looking at the Atari. I so wanted Superman for Atari, and I'd go into Zara's and just oogle it at the
she will be mine.
Oh, yeah. I remember one time I went in and it was during the day, and there was this kid, I guess his mom worked there, so he was staying there for a while, and she switched the arcade so that you didn't have to put in quarters.
The best.
and it was just me and him playing Return of the Jedi for the longest time.
So cool.
Yeah, that was
just hitting the button on the inside of the coin slot. Ding, ding, ding.
That's one of the best things about me working the past couple days was because I was working a team member survey, and we have this table and we had prizes to give away for people who completed the survey. Right next to over my shoulder was the Space Invaders arcade game, and it was like you didn't have to put any quarters in it. You just hit the button and you could play. So while I had some downtime, because not a lot of people took the survey, I played a few rounds of Space Invaders, did a time trial on myself to see what time I could beat, then did some work, and then went back to see if I could beat my time.
That did work. Did some work.
Some work. He made sure no one else beat
In
his
case anybody
time. That was the work. He just watched them.
Places watching. I did work. I did. Did some.
Is this the original Space Invaders, or is this the one that you would find at like
no, it's
new arcades?
It's the Tato arcade cabinet, so it has Space Invaders and Quicks attached to it.
Okay.
So
okay.
Now,
in his defense, they shouldn't have left it there.
to shift gears slightly back, whilst I was preparing to watch Prey, you had said something about DC.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, definitely a segue for what you were saying before. So DC, the article I read today, this here's a rumor so far, but looks like Warner Brothers Discovery, which is the actual company name now.
Yeah, they're headed by David Zaslav.
Yep. They're looking to possibly overhaul DC and follow a similar route as of Disney, Marvel.
So a figurehead.
More of a creative group that would have creative control over the properties.
Yeah, but to have like a figurehead to oversee everything. Yeah.
Yep. This actually piques my interest a little bit.
I hope they bring in somebody like Tom King to oversee the DCU, because he had a lot to do with the New Gods and stuff going on, and that got canceled. And I just really want some Kirby stuff going on from.
You know what? I think the best way to go, honestly, and I'm not saying it's the right way. Like, it's just my own personal opinion. But that's why I always start with I think, not this is. I think a great way to go, honestly, would be to, once again, those core competencies, right? Out of everything that DC Entertainment has put out, all of their output, what has been consistently the most critically and fanatically acclaimed?
Their animation.
Their animation.
Yeah.
Who,
for the most
for the most part,
yeah, there have been some stinkers,
for the majority of their animation, though. Yeah, but for the majority of
better average.
Yeah.
So for the majority of their animation, the people who really brought that to the forefront, there's three, and unfortunately one of them is no longer with us. That's Paul Dini. Oh my God! Now, and I'm drawing a complete blank now. I had it right on the tip of my tongue. His partner on Batman and Justice League and Superman. Oh my
I don't
God.
have that special.
Bruce Timm.
Yes.
Bruce Timm and Dwayne McDuffie. And unfortunately, Dwayne McDuffie passed away several years ago from a sudden heart attack. He was one of the creators of Milestone Comics, and he was largely responsible for a lot of what you saw take place in the DC animated universe from Batman Beyond and forward, especially with Justice League Unlimited. Those three guys, like, they set the bar for how to tell stories with a multitude of very different DC characters. I mean, some of the team ups that they did on Justice League Unlimited were absolutely bonkers. I mean, Captain Atom and Green Arrow? What? How does that work? but it did. It's a good episode. You know, so
don't you have Paul Dini and Bruce Timm coming back for a new Batman series?
I think it's just Bruce Timm.
Just Bruce Timm? Okay.
I think it's just Bruce Timm. But what I'm saying is, like, look at your creators, look at your story writers and what have you, and who are the people who have consistently been at the forefront and or center of some of the best and most successful iterations of these stories that you want to tell on a larger scale. And I think that you'd find that it's going to be people like that. I don't know that you'd necessarily want to get a comic book writer to come in and try to tell all these stories in a completely different medium.
I just want him more to be there for the history. Like, he is very knowledgeable about comics, especially DC history. Like, the guy has really like dug into a lot of
well, I mean, you can certainly make him part of like the creative consultancy team, you know, that kind of like that overseer.
I am gonna make him it. That's what I'm doing tomorrow. I'm calling.
Yeah, do it. Call David Zaslav, and I'm sure he'll just hop right on the good foot and do the bad thing for sure.
With me,
you know it. I mean, it sounds like two people that would be really great for a panel that could confer with this figurehead that they're looking at. Tom King and Mark Waid would probably be two of the best you could get, because Mark Waid is a fucking walking encyclopedia for DC.
Yeah,
that guy can literally like name issues of like Silver Age Justice League of America and tell you exactly what's on the page. Like, it's bonkers. He has just a vast knowledge. Like, DC facts for him are like actor and actress names for me, you know?
So if you look at the Marvel template, what they're doing, I mean, you have Kevin Feige, you know, at the top, and the guy from Elf,
Jon Favreau,
and
Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
James Caan.
So I mean, if you look at like Mandalorian, you know, and the powerhouse of people that they're putting behind like each project. If DC was to do something similar, you know, maybe bring in like, you know, they need to get the suits out of the way. And,
you know, the like Jon Favreau and Kevin Feige, I mean, that's the thing about those guys, is they actually have passion for those worlds, and that's what we're talking about. Is like, you got to get the people who are going to be running the things to care just as much as any of the fans, but also to be able to temper it with common sense in business decisions.
Well,
be able to be like, look, we can't do this, and fucking, we got to update this. So just because comic fans want it, we can't give it to them.
Exactly. And that's the thing, is like, I think Warner Brothers, I mean, Marvel, I think, is falling into this a little bit every once in a while, and I don't think it sets a very good precedent. But Warner Brothers, especially, like, I think they listen to the fans a little too much, and it causes them to panic, and then they get nervous about whatever project they have coming out. So they try to overcorrect and reshoot and redo.
Agree.
Suicide Squad.
Yeah, Suicide Squad for sure. And like, I don't think that any amount of footage that was in the David Ayer cut, whatever, is going to save that fucking movie. All right, it's a lost cause, gang. Just give it up.
So speaking of Suicide Squad, though, what about somebody like James Gunn for a figurehead?
I mean, I like James Gunn a lot. I've liked him for years. I've said it before on the show that, you know, many years ago when I was working at Blockbuster, I brought home this movie called The Specials, and I watched. It was a fun, low budget superhero movie, and I saw that it was written by this dude named James Gunn, who also happened to be in the movies, like the main character. And I thought to myself, like, wow, if you gave him and the guy who directed this like an actual budget, they could probably make a pretty good superhero movie. Then you see that somebody finally decided to give James Gunn a pretty good fucking budget, and he made a pretty damn good superhero movie with third and fourth tier characters.
Like, holy shit.
Yeah, like, who would have thought that Guardians of the Galaxy would have been like a fucking phenomenal movie? I sure as fuck didn't.
I didn't. I went in there and I came out. I was like, "Holy fuck, that
I was
was
blown
the best
away.
thing I've ever seen."
Yeah,
What did they do?
absolutely. It was so fun and had so much heart. And
Yeah, I
yeah,
wanted to hate it. I wanted to be like, "God damn it!"
I kind of wanted to roll my eyes at it, but I still went in with an open mind. And
Yeah.
you know, thank God that's how I approach these things, because by the time I left, I was like, well, I'm pretty sure this is like my favorite Marvel cinematic movie. Like this
Well,
is
and
how
it
good
had
is.
just a fair amount of like fan service. Like he had just like you know that little Howard the Duck, you know.
Yeah,
and
the right amount, the right amount.
Yeah,
The little winks.
and sneaking in the well in the last one, the original Guardians of the Galaxy with Stallone.
Yeah, that was very cool.
Yeah.
And if you didn't know it, that's fine. But if you did, even better. You got a little bit more out of it. It didn't take anybody who wasn't aware out of the movie, which is the kind of stuff I was talking about before. But I think James Gunn is maybe still just a little too niche for who they need to run the entirety of the DC Pantheon.
See,
he could definitely take on a whole section. Like,
I want him to be free.
I wouldn't. Yeah,
I want him to just be able to like jump around between different properties, not being tied down to like one.
I think he's more interested in the creative side of it than the administrative side of it.
Yeah,
just let him be free.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with Yo-Yo because
horse, man.
I know I agree with Yo-Yo because after what he tweeted after filming Guardians 3, it seems like his arc for directing superhero movies is complete. Like
well, I mean, he's still doing Peacemaker, and he's actually developing another show for them as well.
Really?
So yeah, he's not done working with DC. But I think what Yo-Yo said is hitting the nail right on the head. He wants to be able to flit about and create.
Not worry about like, hey, this guy over here's got
like, I can't go over to Marvel and do
my
something. I can't
here.
find like some obscure like comic book like and just make something with that. Like, just be able to
look at it this way: when he came to DC, when he came to Warner Brothers, the first thing they offered him was Superman.
Yeah.
And he was like, how about I do the follow-up for the Suicide Squad instead? And they were like, sure, fine. you do whatever you want, James Gunn. You're James Gunn. So ahead, James Gunn.
He doesn't have another series, at least by IMDb. His next on the list, obviously, we know Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Yep.
He's currently filming Wile E. Coyote.
Ooh.
Fuck.
And announced is a TV series, Starsky and Hutch.
Oh yeah, that's going to be an actual like serious rendition of Starsky and Hutch. Not.
Yeah. But so obviously he's uber creative.
Yeah, he always has been.
Well, no, I know. So think about, maybe not as like the main figurehead, because you need somebody like they're going to be overseeing, movies, TV, comics, everything, video games. But, maybe for movies, just think of the allure of saying, you have the possibility of recreating the entire DC universe. I would think as a creative professional, that would be amazing, thinking about.
Yeah, but the worry of.
Exactly. Like there's only so much time and energy you can devote to so many spinning plates, especially when you have your own creative desires. The thing that makes Kevin Feige able to do what he does is that he is not the person who's running the show on each one of these projects. He's the person that confers with those people to make sure that everyone's on the same page. There's a world of difference there. He makes sure that there's a spirit of collaboration and adherence to what they've agreed upon doing.
Yeah,
I think James Gunn is fine with being a team player in those aspects, but I don't blame him for if he doesn't want to take on that administrative capability. I think Jon Favreau is insane for doing it. What's that?
Yeah.
I think a lot of us can relate. Like, we're very creative, but to actually take on the wanting to be like in charge of it all and be like, hey, all right, you come over here, you come over here. Leo, you're like, you are creative and in charge. Like, thank God for you.
Yeah, exactly. You're the Kevin Feige of the Dorkening.
Yeah.
You know, but the thing is, it's like you start to look at certain things like Jon Favreau. Like he's a huge fan of Star Wars, and he obviously set a certain standard for what they eventually ended up doing with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's a couple fingers and two very big pies for Disney. But when it came to Marvel, he was a player in the game. He was part of the team that all worked and collaborated together. He was not outside of it, overseeing it and making sure that everything was staying within the lines, the parameters that they set. When you have him pulled away from that, he is now trying to be creative and do these things, but he's been given more administrative capabilities, which I can imagine for someone also as creative as Jon Favreau, he is probably feeling the pinch on that more than he necessarily thought when he started. There's a lot of potential for burnout.
Taking on Star Wars, like,
yeah, exactly.
To have to see the fans, fuck, man.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is like fans, like I was getting at before, fans they try to dictate a lot of things, and they either do it because they state this in fact is terrible just because they don't agree with it, or they try to make speculations because they do that whole like, I have a fucking lamp and I'm rubbing it hard and hoping that genie grants my wish. Either for positive or negative. And it's all based on assumptions, let alone speculation. Like, I thought it was fucking hysterical when very recently they finally revealed a little bit more about the Superman script over at Warner Brothers that Ta-Nehisi Coates had written. He's working on it with J.J. Abrams. Ta-Nehisi Coates wrote Black Panther and Captain America for Marvel Comics. And he's a very intelligent and powerful voice within the Black community, who is very succinct and adept at pointing out a lot of disparity socially in our society, like altogether, like through the history of America and especially currently. And he's a Black man, and as soon as he was hired to write a new Superman script, everybody, all kinds of folks, doesn't matter what their background is or anything like that, they were just like, oh, Black Superman. I was like, whoa. I don't have a problem with that if that's the case, but you're just jumping on it because he's a Black man who was hired to write a script. Could it possibly be, and I know this is fucking crazy, he's a good writer and he had the best pitch for an idea for a Superman movie? Maybe you should all fucking wait. And they finally just released like what they're looking at, kind of bringing Superman back to basics, doing a little bit more of a golden age thing, still having it set in modern time, and just like using the story as an allegory for racism and the way the classes are separated throughout the country. Mm-hmm. Not a single mention of it being Black Superman, this, that, or the other thing, but they have.
God damn it, my Son of Zod first appearance isn't going up in value.
Well, no, see, that's the thing. There's also a project that Michael B. Jordan is developing for HBO Max, and I'm hoping that it's going to be
looks really
Val
good.
Zod. My only concern with that, and it's not like a bad thing, is if you're going to do Val Zod, please give us Earth 2. Like that, I just want to see that at the very least. Show Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman get fucking wasted by Darkseid and all the parademons on Earth 2. And then it's left up to Val Zod and everybody who's left to pick up the pieces and basically become like the new Justice Society for that Earth. Like, that's cool, man. I want to see that. And you don't have to have it be some chintzy Birds of Prey on the WB type shit. Like, that has the potential to be fucking dope as hell. Val Zod is an incredibly interesting, cool character, especially given the fact that like Superman protected him for years on Earth 2 because he suffers from severe agoraphobia. Like, he doesn't do well around crowds, and then he decides when Superman's gone to take on the role of Superman. That's braver than anything Clark Kent ever did. You know, I think that there's a lot of potential, and I'm super excited that Michael B. Jordan like saw that and he was like, oh, I wanna be involved. You know, like I don't need him to star in it. You know, and his attitude the whole time has been like, no, I don't want to be in it. I want to help somebody else be in it, which I think is the right attitude to have. And that has like such potential to be like such an excellent series for HBO Max. Like I'm like readily waiting that particular project. If I don't see like a red, white, and blue suit on Val Zod on HBO Max, I'm going to be very upset. Like, I need to see that shit. I don't even know who could play him. Like, just not Will Smith. All right.
Well, so I mean, obviously, it seems like there's hope. Well, like anything with Superman, hope for DC.
I caught it.
I personally, I think they've been on the right track for the last, several movies, except for Wonder Woman 84.
Well, yeah, except let's forget that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the
Wonder Woman 84
wanted to
went,
like that.
It went
to.
It went full. In I don't mean the color grading or anything like that, but trope wise, it went full Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
Like I am so fucking tired. In Wonder Woman 84 is not the only movie that is guilty of such things. I mean, we saw the same thing play out in like Amazing Spider-Man 2 and what have you. Listen, we get it. All right. At this point, if you show us a character who has glasses and fucking crazy frizzy hair and they're kind of klutzy and their papers fall all over the place at one point, they're gonna be the fucking villain. All right. We get it. All right, stop. You know, and
but we've talked about this
even
before.
Batman Returns did it.
Did we need both Cheetah and that dime store version of Maxwell Lord?
I would have been happy with just Maxwell Lord if they had
done it right.
Yeah.
Like, I think I think keeping both was okay, but it definitely needed some rewrites. But more importantly, it was missing a lot of heart, and that's what made the first Wonder Woman amazing. What was the amount of heart in that? But like, it was the 80s movie.
Sense to be made.
Well, it was an 80s movie with no 80s music in it whatsoever.
Oh, I didn't even recognize that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that's not really a breaking point for me on it. I mean, I'm more concerned with the fact that it had glimmers of really good ideas and it just kind of fell flat. I think the biggest improvement, which is also one of the most confusing things within the movie, is by the end of it, her learning how to fly because of what Steve said. Like, I love that. I love how she took to heart what Steve had said, how he felt when he flew. And that's how she realized she had that ability within herself. I like that. But then when you look at the fact that later in Batman v Superman and Justice League, she only has like that jump flight thing going on. Like, she's Superman 1938. That's a real big continuity issue. I know it sounds silly to point out, but I mean, it's weird. But yeah, like 84, but I'm just I cannot wait to see Shazam, Fury of the Gods. I really, Black Adam, I think is going to be phenomenal. I'm so glad that Dwayne Johnson he really like soldiered on and has been touting this project for years, and straight up has always been like, I want this movie. Like, I'm going to play this character. And he's never backed down from that. He clearly has a passion for it. And that's important. I think that'll shine through. And the potential for the characters we're going to see come through in that flick, as well as whatever's going to, occur in Shazam and then other projects down the line. I mean, who knows what's going to happen after The Flash? I certainly don't. I mean, there's a lot of potential there. And, people are already screaming like, oh, Michael Keaton, Batman Beyond. I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's still showing up in modern day. So cool your fucking jets, hotshot. But like, there's a lot of potential for stuff so long as they don't screw the pooch and try to set up too many conflicting projects at once.
Yeah,
You know,
just focus on one good story after another. Just
Yeah,
focus on
and
the story and
having small connections between
Yeah.
each thing
exactly.
is the way to go. Like Black Adam has Amelia Harcourt in it,
Mhm.
who is, you know, in Peacemaker and Suicide Squad. That's perfect. That makes sense to me. You know, she's an agent for Argus. Therefore, she's trying to show up and find out what the hell's going on with this Justice Society thing that's starting to form. All right. That's all we really need to connect it even further to anything else. You don't have to go full blown like exposure to the world kind of shit. It's the little things that make it feel like a real living world. You know, that's something that Marvel Studios latched onto pretty early on.
And also each movie, it needs to acknowledge that other superheroes exist. You know, just
Yeah.
you know, giving them a world ending scenario and not acknowledging that, you know, hey, we could just, you know, call in Superman to help, you know. It's that's
Look at how Peacemaker ended.
yeah.
Exactly. Or Shazam, where he's talking about the whole time. My God, such a fanboy of fucking Superman the whole time. Like that I was like, that's Billy Batson.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that right there.
Yeah,
And you
to
really
see Freddy
need
has an actual batarang.
Yeah, like you and the actors that they're getting for these, like Zachary Levi, Dwayne Johnson, like that they have a passion to play the characters, I think really matters.
Oh, absolutely. And honestly, too, like I've mentioned it before, I've met Zachary Levi, like such a nice guy. Like that's exactly the kind of person you want to play a superhero.
Yeah.
You know, that's the type of person that when they step out and they're not on the screen anymore, they are still going to try their damnedest to be a representation for that character that you enjoyed so much. You know, there needs to be more of that. That's what you see a lot of in the Marvel Studios side of things. It's like, you know, people kind of being decent. You know, I think one of the nicest, best videos I ever saw of anything, you know, Robert Downey Jr. did an awful lot for a lot of people, and he still continues to do so, you know, donating to charity and spending time with kids and what have you. But to me, like the real thing that I saw was a little kid was told that Iron Man was there, and he got so excited, and then he walked up and they introduced him to Robert Downey Jr., and he got so upset because that wasn't Iron Man, that was Tony Stark. He wanted to see Iron Man. And the look on Robert Downey Jr.'s face was like he looked like he was about to cry. Like he wanted to make this little kid feel so much better. He's like, I wish I had an Iron Man suit right now. You know, and that to me, that speaks to like his humanity. That's the kind of person that you want in roles like this, like somebody who's going to take it to heart when a little kid sees them. You know, you don't want somebody who's doing it just for the paycheck and they're an absolute scumbag in real life.
You could have gone to Chris Pratt route and stealing the costume.
I love that. And he stole the costume so he could wear it at hospitals. I mean,
yeah,
that's fantastic.
You know, and I mean, and it's
that's a good reason to steal something. Just saying.
Yeah.
How could you get mad at that? Like,
yeah.
All right, let him keep it.
Yeah.
Well, we are well over 2 hours, and I feel my back about to go. So we should wrap things up.
You should follow your back.
Yeah.
Eat some brownies.
I've been told it's too late.
Huh?
I've been told it's too late.
Oh, it's.
I mean, it's 11. So.
Oh well, yeah, probably.
In the evening, it's too late in the evening. Yeah. Yes, I wouldn't recommend it for you right now, Leo.
Yeah. I mean,
that would be a bad idea.
Go right to bed. Right to bed.
Wake up like, what the fuck is wrong with me, man?
Fuck. Weed hangover.
Yeah, right. I fucking eat those brownies.
Well, that's what happened last time.
Yeah, you gotta like give yourself like 4 hours of awake time and then 8 hours of sleep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, 8 hours is kind of pushing it for me, but it's,
at least 6.
Okay.
I told him like mid-afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mid-afternoon.
Even
and believe me, you do it in mid-afternoon, you'll fucking get 8 hours of sleep, Leo.
Oh yeah. Yeah, even
You
like
will.
4 or 5 o'clock. You know.
Okay.
eat some right after dinner, and like enjoy your evening. Go for a walk. Yeah.
There we go.
Come back, celebrate with another brownie. No.
Whoa.
Yikes.
Oh, hold on. We're still live.
Yeah, we
Yes,
are.
we are. We are.
Well, I want to thank everybody for watching this fine evening. Definitely, I run a little thing called the Dorkening Podcast Network. We've got about 40 shows on the network. A lot of awesome people doing a lot of awesome stuff, including Jar Jar.
Hey, come check out Comic Book Lovers Buy Sell Trade and Auction House on Facebook. Yeah, it's fun. We're revamping too. Yes.
Yay!
Yay.
Yo.
Just Yo Saint Laurent on Instagram at the moment still. Eventually I'll do more things. Eventually.
Your presence is enough for us, Yo-Yo.
Hey, man.
So you can follow my shows, Super Retro Throwback Reviews, on the Dorkening Podcast Network and all major podcasts and distributors. The link is in the show notes. I'm going to push the shit out of this until June 5th when it, June 5th and the voting closes. We are up for an award for the day's best of Reader's Choice Awards. Go to the link in the show notes.
Can I vote more than once? I already voted.
You can vote once a day.
Oh, okay,
I have voted every day so far.
That's what I thought.
I was in the hospital today and I fucking voted, Jeremy. What's your excuse?
No, I voted. I just thought, like, if I voted,
you can vote.
I was getting worried because sometimes they have those systems where if you vote more than once, that they like totally
validate all of them.
But funny story about this. For years, I've been clamoring for this award from our paper, and I've been given the Susan Lucci treatment every single time. See, Jeremy got the reference.
I got it too. It's just an honor to be nominated.
No, we're a multi-award nominated podcast, but it's about time we become an award-winning podcast. So please,
says you, pal.
He's like, damn right, says me.
You have 2 fucking awards over there. PJ has 2 fucking awards behind him every time he goes live. How about Super Retro has one behind him for once? So please vote for us. Let's bring an award home once and for all. Thank you.
We told you no self-promotion, Steven.
Oh, shut up.
What was that we were saying about trolls earlier?
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, Brandon.
Hey, everybody. I am Brandon Powers, a.k.a. Powerful Brandon. If you feel so inclined, come on over to the Facebook group Powers Combined. We're just a bunch of dorks that get together and like to share info and fun stuff, memes, laughs. Our one big rule is don't be a jerk. If you violate that, you will be booted immediately. Aside from that, you can check out, please, the Dork Night podcast. It's going to be coming out bi-weekly, covers all things Batman. It's going to include myself, Leo Pond, and our buddy Justin Cooper. And then the other podcast that we're doing, also bi-weekly, switching off week to week with Dork Night, is Comics Paradox, in which we talk about different what-ifs and Elseworlds, alternate reality tales and takes like Amalgam Comics or The Age of Apocalypse. It's a lot of fun. And you can also catch me here every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Dorkening Podcast Wednesday night show.
There we go. We'll catch you guys later. Bye.
Peace.